So welcome back. Zimbabwe will hold presidential and parliamentary elections tomorrow, and the candidate of the ruling Zanu-PF party, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, is being challenged by Nelson Chamisa of the Citizens Coalition for Change and 9 other contenders. Zimbabwe's ruling Zanu-PF has been in power for the last 43 years. Now, the mineral-rich country was once considered one of Africa's most prosperous economies, but it has been in economic turmoil since 2000, when former leader Robert Mugabe led the violent seizure of white-owned farms to resettle landless blacks. Now, questions are being raised on whether the electoral process will be free, fair and transparent. So to discuss some of these issues, we joined virtually by Associate Professor in the Department of Public Management at Tshwane University of Technology, Professor Ricky Mukonza. Professor, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sakina. Good morning to your viewers.
Professor Mukonza, this is, of course, the first election after the end of the former President Robert Mugabe's 37-year rule. And it had raised hopes for some that there might be a different order on the horizon for Zimbabwe after many years of misrule, mismanagement that had dragged that country's economy to the ground and also driven investors out. But what would you say has really improved or worsened or changed significantly since 2018?
Thank you very much, Sakina. I think there has been some significant changes within the the way in which the country is being run. You look at infrastructure development. I think major road infrastructure has been developed. You look at the border post, the Bedbridge border post, I think it has been improved. The airport, the Robert Mugabe airport has also been improved. But when you look at in terms of the governance of the country, I think little has changed. When you look at the economy of the country, I think not much has changed. There is still unemployment, volatility in the economy, and many other social ills that characterize the time, the last years of Robert Mugabe.
So, Professor Mukonza, an opinion poll that was conducted in June showed that the economy and unemployment were the top concerns for voters who were polled. So let's talk about that. Zimbabwe obviously battling economically, and many pinning their hopes for a better future on tomorrow's presidential election. Is that realistic, though, regardless of who wins?
Yes, indeed, because since 2000, Zimbabwe has learned that the economy is largely dependent on the politics. How an economy of a country performs is largely dependent on how that country is governed. Because you'd understand, Sakina, that when Zimbabwe started having contested elections outcomes and the attendant political problems that come with that, then it affected how the economy performed subsequently. So people will be right in pinning their hopes on at least having a free and fair and credible election, as that would then set a foundation for restoration of the economic fundamentals that I think have not been in place for Zimbabwe.
Free, fair, credible elections, is that possible under the conditions that we have been covering in the lead up to tomorrow's poll, Prof?
I have my reservations about that. I think already, because what we need to understand, Sakina, is that the outcome of any election is a product of pre, during, and post an election day. So what has been happening in the past year or so pertaining to issues of the use of violence on opposition political parties, the use of state apparatus to repress opposition political supporters, and also the use of the judicial system, to persecute opposition political leaders. I think you know that one of the opposition political leaders, Job Sikala, is still in prison and is being denied bail. So all those things, and also you look at the Election Management Board, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, how it has been acting in a manner that does not give confidence to the whole process. All these things, Sakina, do not really give one hope that the outcome of this election will not be contested, particularly if the opposition loses.
But contested to what extent and to what ultimate outcome? Because I've always found it very curious that you have international election observers. They come back with their reports about what they observed in elections in various countries, and irrespective of whether that election was in fact free, fair and credible, things go on. And I think by then endorsing whatever the outcome is, irregardless, we are not doing any favors to countries where there seems to be unfair electoral practices in the lead up and of course on the day of elections. So what would your response be to a view such as that, Professor?
No, your observation is apt, Sakina. Zimbabwe has had contested outcomes since 2002, and the international community, whether you're talking of SADC, the AU, or any other body that has come to observe elections, they have not done much, to address that particular challenge. And for me, yes, the pronouncements by these organizations are good in as far as they at least give the world a picture of what would have transpired and some kind of an independent view on the election process and the outcome. But likely, they have not changed the price of bread, as it were.
So we have about a minute, Prof, and I just want to quickly ask you, there are, of course, 11 candidates vying for this presidency, but many believe that it's a two-horse race between Mnangagwa and Chamisa, which is a rematch of what happened in 2018. Your thoughts on this, and also the fact that others, the 9 others, are contesting this election, and what sort of impact that has?
Indeed, I think the real contestation is between the incumbent President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the main opposition political leader, Nelson Chamisa. If all things were equal, Nelson Chamisa would definitely take it. Because I think not because he's a genius, not because he's very good, but simply because Zanu-PF has performed badly in governance. But things as they are, Sakina, we don't live in utopia. I think the pronounced winner may not be the one that a majority of Zimbabweans want.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Not too much longer, fortunately, as Zimbabwe goes to the polls tomorrow. Thank you so much, Professor Ricky Mukonza, Associate Professor in the Department of Public Management at the Tshwane University of Technology, speaking to us about the Zimbabwean elections. And please feel free to let us know your thoughts at Morning Live SABC.